Yes. So what happens is, in this story, the plot summary, the book has got three stages of this great expectation. I'll tell you the full story so that you'll come to know what's in summary. Now, these are the three stages of Pip's expectations. What is Pip all about? Okay, what happened in this? Characters, Pip and his family. Who is Pip and his family? Philip Pirip is his name. Nickname is Pip. An orphan and an protagonist. Protagonist. Protagonist is the main character of the story is Pip, and narrator of Great Expectations. He is narrating it. Writing is Charles Dickens. In his childhood, Pip dreamed of becoming a blacksmith like his kind brother-in-law, George Gargery. At Satis house, about age 8, he meets and falls in love with Estella and tells Biddy that he wants to become a gentleman. As a result, Magwitch's anonymous patronage, Pip lives in London after learning the blacksmith trade and becomes a gentleman. Pip assumes that his benefactor is Miss Havisham. The discovery that his true benefactor is a convict shocks him. Pip at the end of the story is united with his family, with Estella, who he loved. At the age of 8, he fell in love. Joe Gargery is Pip's brother-in-law and his first father figure. He is a blacksmith who is always kind to Pip, and the only person with whom Pip is always honest. Joe is disappointed when Pip decides to leave his home to live in London to become a gentleman rather than become a blacksmith in business with Joe. He is a strong man who bears shortcomings of the closest to him. Mrs. Joe Gargery, Pip's hot-tempered adult sister, Georgiana Maria, called Mrs. Joe, 20 years older than Pip. She brings him up, and after their parents' death, she does the work of the household but too often loses her temper and beats her family. Orlick, her husband's journeyman, attacks her during a botched burglary, and she is left disabled until her death. Mr. Pumblechook, Joe Gregory's uncle, an officious bachelor and a corn merchant. While not knowing how to deal with a growing boy, he tells Mrs. Joe, as she is known, how noble she is to bring up Pip. As the person who first connected Pip to Miss Havisham, he claims to have been the original architect of Pip's expectations. Pip dislikes Mr. Pumblechook for his pompous, unfounded claims. When Pip stands up to him in public place, all those expectations are dashed. Mr. Pumblechook turns those listening to the conversation against Pip. Now, Miss Havisham was the person who took Pip again as a companion for herself and her adopted daughter. She was a spinster. Husband had died. Unmarried woman. She was an unmarried woman, spinster is unmarried, who took Pip on as a companion for herself and her adopted daughter Estella. Havisham was very wealthy, rich person, eccentric woman who had worn her wedding dress and one shoe since the day that she was jilted at the altar by her fiancé. Her house is unchanged as well. She hates all men and plots to wreak a twisted revenge by teaching Estella to torment and spurn men, including Pip, who loves her. Miss Havisham is later overcome by remorse for ruining both Estella's and Pip's chances for happiness. Now she confesses that she had plotted against Pip, and begging for his forgiveness, she is badly burned when her dress accidentally catches fire. In a later chapter, Pip learns from Jo that she is dead. There is Matthew Pocket, Herbert Pocket, Camilla, Cousin Raymond, Georgiana, Sarah Pocket. So these are the people there in this scene. Okay, so now I'll start reading and let's see how far we can go. Okay, so it's going to be quite nice, enjoyable. Let's see how he meets this convict. It's an excerpt taken from the Great Expectation total story, abridged and adapted from the Great Expectation. Made it short, abridged. All that little Philip Pirrip, usually called Pip, knew about his father and mother and his 5 little brothers was from seeing their tombstone in the churchyard. He remembers about his father, mother, brother, sister and all. They had died. Looking at the tombstone at the graveyard, he remembers the grave. Churchyard. Christians have to be buried. He was cared for by his sister, who was 20 years older than himself. She had married a blacksmith named Joe Gargery, a kind, good man, while she unfortunately was a hard, stern woman and treated her little brother and her amiable husband with great harshness. They lived in a marshy part of the country about 20 miles from the sea. She was not a good character. Very angry type of thing, always having complaints and shouting, and even to the good husband she used to shout. One cold, raw day towards evening, they were staying in a marshy, quite watery type of land, marshy, soft type of land with full of plants, water plants, 20 miles away from the sea. One cold, raw day towards evening, when Pip was about 6 years old, he had wandered into the churchyard and was trying to make out what he could of the inscriptions on his family tombstones. The darkness was coming on, and feeling very lonely and frightened, he began to cry. 6 years old, he went to see his parents. What is written on that stone? The names are written when he was born, it is written when people die, it is written, and someone wants to write something about that person, that is also engraved into the stone. In the loving memory of, it's always written, rest in peace. So he was trying to see what is written in this thing, and it was raw evening, during winter time, cold evening, so it becomes dark faster. It was getting dark and cold, so he started crying. He felt scared. Feeling lonely and cried. In a graveyard you will feel lonely, but generally in our graveyards we don't feel scared. I don't feel scared. Hold your noise, cried a terrible voice. And a man started up from among the graves close to him. Keep still, you little imp, or I'll cut your throat. Imp is a child who behaves badly, is called an imp. Keep still, you little imp, or I'll cut your throat. He was a dreadful looking man, dressed in a coarse grey cloth, with a great iron on his leg, wet, muddy and miserable. He limped and shivered and glared and growled. His teeth chattered in his head as he seized Pip by the chin. He caught Pip like this and he was shaking. He was also feeling cold. Leg had an iron, he's run away from jail. The clamps are still on his legs. Grey cloth is the uniform, jail uniform. He was limping, must have got hurt, got wet, mashy, muddy. Oh, don't cut my throat, sir, cried Pip in terror. Pray, don't do it, sir. I pray, please, don't cut my throat. Tell us your name, said the man. Quick. Pip, sir, Pip. Once more, said the man, staring at him. Give it mouth. Speak loudly. Pip, Pip, sir. He is finished. Pip is out of control. Show us where you live, said the man. Point out the place. Pip showed him the village about a mile or more from the church. The man looked at him for a moment and then turned him upside down and emptied his pockets. He found nothing in them but a piece of bread, which he ate ravenously. He's been running from the day. He must have run off from jail. He's not eaten. Limping the chain. See, that iron chain is still on his leg. A small piece of bread was that he ate as if great food he's eating. You young dog, said the man, licking his lips. What fat cheeks you have got. Darn me, if I could eat them. And if I hadn't half a mind too. Pip said earnestly that he hoped he would not. He said, "You are such beautiful kids, such nice cheeks. I wish I could eat you. And I wish I should eat you right now. I am thinking in my mind that I'll be really grateful." So Pip says, "Please don't hope all that nonsense. Don't eat." "Now looky here," said the man. "Where's your mother?" "There, sir," said Pip. "Where's your mother?" He said, "There, in the grave. They are in the churchyard, graveyard." And this, the man started and seemed about to run away, but stopped and looked over his shoulder. The man got scared. "Where's your mother?" "Here, I have to run again." He thought, but again he looked over. There's no one there. "There," explained Pip, showing him the tombstone. "Oh, and is that your father along your mother?" "Yes, sir," said Pip. "Ha," muttered the man. "Then who do you live with? Supposing you are kindly let to live, which I hadn't made up my mind about." "My sister, sir, Mrs. Joey Gargery, wife of Joe Gargery, the blacksmith, sir." "Blacksmith? Oh," said the man, and looked down at his leg. Then he seized the trembling little boy by both arms, and glaring down at him, he said, "Look, now look here. The question being whether you are to be let to live. You know what a file is?" "Yes, sir. File is you get to cut iron. You rub that file on iron to cut it." "And you know what a file is?" He said, "Yes, sir." "And you know what victuals is?" "Something to eat." "Yes, sir." "You get me a file and you get me victuals. You bring them both to me." All this time he was tilting poor Pip backwards, till he was so dreadfully frightened and giddy that he clung to the man with both hands. He was holding him upside down. Huge fellow. He was feeling giddy. Your head feels giddy when something happens. So he was clinging to him. "You have to get me a file and food. I'll keep it till here. Today is the 9th. Next class we'll come and do it again. We'll go through this nice story. Next class we'll finish it. Okay. Bye bye. See you. Take care. Best of luck. Love your parents. Respect them. God bless.